Right then, good morning everybody. We're going to talk about Ethereum today. That's right, Ethereum. So I bought some Ethereum yesterday. Not saying I had never had any. I've got loads. This is Ethereum. I bought Ethereum when it was like $160, like quite a while ago, and kept it. And I've not bought any more until yesterday, and I'll show you why. But first, I'm just going to look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's in this rising wedge. Typically, they break down overnight, hit the resistance. So don't be at all surprised to see that actually today brings us down towards the the bottom of the Bollinger Band. So it's basically $98,000. However, my hope is that it breaks. Typically, these are bearish formations, but we are hoping that we do break. We've got drives of bearish divergence. We've got drives of hidden bearish divergence on the money flow index. It's bearish divergence city. Everywhere I look was bearish divergence, but we can still hope, can't we? So I mean, that's your Bitcoin for you. Again, it's not the pillar of awesomeness. What it's done has been done, but it's probably gonna break down. So my little piece of Ethereum that I bought yesterday, or should I say the handful of Ethereums that I bought yesterday, it may end up going down before they go back up. Right, so let me present to you why I think Ethereum has a good chance of being a decent position, even from this level. Because I said to somebody yesterday, I said, look, you could buy the top here if you like, and next year you'll be forgiven. If it was like Bitcoin or Ethereum, and maybe some other things, perhaps. Bitcoin and Ethereum, probably. That's probably going to be a true statement. You could buy this top and it would be okay. But if you wanted to wait for lower, there's evidence for that also. So it's up to you and whatever your risk tolerance is. So we're going to start on the massive monthly, and what we see here is that there's been plenty of bullish divergence forming all the way from this level here and all the way down over here. So bang, 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 3 mega drives. The mega drive, wow. We've also got a lot of bullish divergence on the money flow index. You've got this low, you've got a higher low here as we've been creeping down. And again, we're forming another higher low here, printing a 38 on the money flow index on the weekly. On the monthly, sorry. On the weekly, though, we've got bang, 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 loads of bullish divergence again on the RSI. And on the money flow index also as one massive mega drive. Where we'd be looking for, again, perhaps a turnaround of momentum on the highest term timeframes, monthly and weekly, with the Bitcoin pair. Even if you were to measure this into the death cross, which is where you'd expect it to go to, that's a 38 to 40% move into the exponential, and to the simple, it's a 60% move, give or take, give or take. And we're battling with a Bollinger Band at the moment, so, technically you're more likely to get rejected from here, based on the Bollinger Band strategy. But yeah, that's just one thing that we look at. We're also looking at shifting of momentum on higher term timeframes, perhaps. You could call it rotation, you could call it just a giant swing trade. I don't know what you want to call it, but when momentum starts to shift like that, it's usually telling a story that, this downtrend, although it looks like it's in full force, there's evidence to say that actually it's slowing down. So now we're looking at the daily. So what's the daily doing? So the daily actually reclaimed the Bollinger Band back late November and retested it just a few days back and retested it again today. So if there was to be an entry point, I suppose, on a Bitcoin pair, Ethereum to Bitcoin, it would be here with moves up to 0.042 or 0.044. Again, not the most amazing thing you've ever seen, but evidence on the Bollinger Band at this point now. Again, look at all the bullish divergence that was brewing here, marking this particular low was the last one, where it would appear that maybe that is the low, all the way down here, 0.032. So again, low could easily be in by now, and what we're looking for is the landslide effect given to us by the monthly and the weekly. So I like it, What we're also looking for is that we've got 3 of the 4 components ready for a pump signal. We want all 4. So we've got the green portion of the cloud, you've got price action above the cloud, you've got the Chiku span crossing positive around here. That's where it is, it's here. Not the Chiku span, the conversion baseline cross. Sorry, it's still early, I'm in a rough sleep. And then you've got this is your cheeky span. This needs to close above the cloud, which means that you've got to get a closure above, we'll call it 0.03978. And that'll give you a pump signal, so that's what we're waiting for, the last component. So if we just push up a little bit further, you get a pump signal. Issue Cloud will push you up into the first major level of resistance, which is pretty clear to me that it's going to be around here or here. So you might get a max move around 14 or 15%, a minimum move of around 10. So that looks good to me. So let's take it down even further, because again, it's looking better and better, isn't it, on the more time frames that you look at. It doesn't matter how you interpret it. If you were a perma bear, you may start to feel a little scared looking at all this. And here we go on the 4 hourly. Again, recognize this is a Bitcoin pair. Okay, so these are the ones that count. So we've moved up. We've got a golden cross. We've had a golden cross retest. Golden cross retests often result in a V-shaped recovery, which would mean a move back up to 0.04, which would give us that daily pump signal, wouldn't it? Which again, is all we really need for that 10 to 14%. Which again, at that point, would shift the playing field a little bit for the weekly and the monthly. It gives us more moves and bigger moves. So there is evidence across the board, isn't there? 4 hourly, daily, weekly and monthly on a Bitcoin pair to say that actually Ethereum, as crap as you might think it is and as underperforming as it appears to be on face value, because it doesn't generally do like massive moves all in one go, that's the one thing I think that a lot of people don't like about it. So, I could have bought, I can't think of any more stupid coins too early. I could have bought steaming half digested porridge token. But I didn't. I bought Ethereum and it only did 10%. Well, that's life. I trade charts, and so this is what the chart says, and so I'm willing to put my money into it, even though I'm risking potentially putting it into a top, which I've explained at the very beginning. That's kind of mad behaviour for me. But I'm also thinking, am I going to outperform Bitcoin? Because if I'm outperforming Bitcoin all the way up, all the way down, so long as I'm stacking sats, which is what this trade is about, then that's a win, really. It is still a win. So there you go. Excuse me. 4 hourly, daily, weekly, and the monthly, all showing signs of life. So let's just go over to the Tether pair then, where we can see on the 4 hourly we're above all moving averages, kind of technically ready to move on this one, so long as we're above 3,873. Again, major resistance at 4,000. You break 4,000, you go up and push up towards a new all-time high. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're waiting for. Go to a daily. What do we see? Above all moving averages, all this bearish divergence has reset now since we had that plunge down into the Bollinger Band. Again, that's a decent move now. And Captain Hindsight kicks in and go, yeah, it was wiki. It was dangerous. But you had 1, 2, 3 candles close above those moving averages. So that's a good look for it. Moving over to the weekly, again, above all moving averages, a single drive of bearish divergence with the money flow index sitting at 76, so it could have the room to run back up to the previous all-time high and beyond. It's all about the 4,000. You can see this sort of double top area. Once that breaks, easily you'll see the new all-time high, easily. And you might even see it run higher than that. You could perhaps maybe even seeing it close to doubling, pushing up to maybe $7,000. All of this seems completely surreal and bizarre, but I've been through all of this before. Like I said, I bought Ethereum back in the olden days, not the olden days, but I bought Ethereum around about here at the beginning of the bull market previously. I bought quite a lot of them. Well, I say quite a lot. I mean, it was only like $5,000 worth at the time, but I got about 36 Ethereum for the value that that it was at the time. It was not, that's probably a pretty good deal. But I saw it go up and I saw it go down back to my entry point. Couldn't believe it. I was like, all right, okay, and having a great time, having a bad time. Okay, having a great time, having a bad time, having a great time. And then having a bad time. And then basically, after the greats and the bads, and me thinking that really, watching all these other altcoins that I could have invested in for a much longer period of time and really done enormous gains with, like Chainlink for one. Chainlink had gone from 50 cents to like $5 or something, and there's me sort of going up and down like a yo-yo. And then finally, it picked up pace. Despite having money flow index reads that are relatively high, despite having bearish divergences, it rallied like a mother. And again, everything did, but Ethereum really did. And all was forgiven in the end. even sailing it down throughout the bear market, because again, I had no intention of selling this. This is like, you consider it to be a long-term position because you got such a good entry point. You know, I was like, okay, I'm quite happy with that. So at the end of the bear market, it hit 180. Recognize I bought it for 160. So this is 880 it bottomed out at. So look, been having a good time, but still, I've been here before. You're up and down and side to side. We're getting ready for the big one, I reckon. Or at least a change of behavior, and the change of behavior will be breaking out from the all-time high. Now, Ethereum does have an ETF. You know what happened to Bitcoin after its ETF? It had a hard time, and then it had a good time. And it continues to have a good time with the inflows basically just being enormous. Now, Ethereum hasn't sort of broken through that major area, that sell wall, that enormous sell wall, 4,000 and then basically 4,600. Yeah, it's going to struggle around there. But once it's broken, we should start to see it behave a little bit more like Bitcoin behaved in the wake of the ETFs and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm relatively confident of what I see. I was saying it on the stream last night. If somebody said to me, right, you've got $1 million, you're only allowed to buy either Bitcoin or Ethereum. You have to buy one of the two at this point. You can't have both. What's it going to be? I'd say, well, based on the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, I think that the obvious choice at this point now is going to be Ethereum. It's going to outperform Bitcoin. Might not do it today or tomorrow or next week, but based on the monthly and the weekly, and I suppose the daily and the 4 hourly, but the biggest moves are going to be generated from that monthly and the weekly. Based on those two charts, you should be looking for double the gain that anything Bitcoin could provide at this point. Again, I don't know what Bitcoin is going to do, but evidence on the chart says if you used to pick one of the two, the obvious choice is going to be at this point now, Ethereum. Despite, on face value, being in a downtrend on its Bitcoin pair, there is a change of behavior brewing, and it's only going to turn around at some point soon enough to outperform Bitcoin, maybe for the duration of the cycle, for the rest of this cycle. That's what looks like it's going to happen, but it's going to require a little patience. Anyway, I'm going to leave with you there. Hopefully that was useful. And again, what's good for Ethereum is generally good for altcoins. We know that. You know, it's the leader of altcoins. It's going to move the total market. It's going to move the total 2, which in turn should move total 3 and others. It's going to shift the Bitcoin dominance chart into a significant downtrend just because of the size of the market cap of Ethereum. It's going to create the big sort of shift in confidence in altcoins. And so, it's good for everybody. But, if you want to play it safe from this level, because again, that's generally what it's about, playing it safe. I'm not really one to stick my neck out and risk enormous figures. Despite it pushing a resistance, which could easily end up being a top, I still believe that it's actually not a bad idea to buy Ethereum right now. Right, that is it. I'll leave it with you there. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.